War has always driven innovation. From the invention of bronze swords to nuclear weapons, every leap in technology has been shaped by conflict. But the next generation of warfare may not be fought with tanks and missiles. It could be invisible, autonomous, and unlike anything we've ever seen before. Today, we reveal the secret weapons of future wars. For centuries, the narrative of war was written in soil and steel, defined by front lines and the clash of armies. But today, a new conflict is being waged. It's a war fought not with bullets but with bits and bytes. This is the dawn of the invisible battlefield, a digital realm where the infrastructure of our modern world is the new territory to be conquered. The front lines are no longer on a map. They are the fiber optic cables beneath our oceans, the satellites orbiting our planet, and the countless servers that power our hyper-connected lives. In this new domain, a single line of malicious code can be more devastating than a battalion. Cyber warfare can cripple a nation's economy, dismantle its infrastructure, and sow chaos, all without firing a shot. Imagine your bank account vanishing, traffic lights turning green simultaneously, or the power grid being switched off from half a world away. This isn't science fiction. It is the stark reality of 21st century conflict. The world received its first major wake-up call in the spring of 2007. Estonia, one of the most digitally advanced nations on Earth, found itself under a sudden, overwhelming digital siege. Following a political dispute, a massive, coordinated cyber attack was launched. It was a distributed denial-of-service attack, a digital flash mob where thousands of compromised computers flooded Estonian websites with junk traffic. The country's digital infrastructure buckled. Banks went offline, leaving citizens unable to access their money. Government websites crashed, news outlets were silenced, creating an information vacuum filled with fear. For 3 weeks, Estonia fought for its digital survival, proving a country could be paralyzed without a single soldier crossing its borders. The lessons from Estonia were not lost. In the years since, a new arms race has accelerated in the shadows. Nations began pouring billions into creating sophisticated cyber armies. These aren't traditional soldiers, they are elite cadres of state-sponsored hackers and network engineers. Their mission? To defend their own digital borders and develop the capability to attack others. Their targets are the crown jewels of a modern society: electrical grids, satellites, financial markets, and even military drones. Every connection is a potential vulnerability. Every system, a potential target. This escalating conflict is no longer confined to government and military networks. It is seeping into our daily lives. The very devices we've embraced for convenience, our smartphones, smartwatches, connected homes, have become potential entry points. Each app we download, each network we join, creates a new potential flank. The battlefield of tomorrow isn't a distant land. It's here. It's the device in your hand, the network in your home, the invisible web of data that surrounds us all. In this new era, the line between personal and national security has begun to blur. Imagine a sky filled with thousands of autonomous drones, each capable of identifying targets, communicating with one another, and striking without human input. Military planners call this swarm warfare. In simulations, swarms of small, cheap drones have overwhelmed even the most advanced defense systems. They don't get tired, they don't hesitate. They follow their programming. And that could change everything. For over half a century, the vast, silent expanse of space was governed by a shared ideal. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty declared it a global commons, a province of all mankind, reserved for peaceful purposes. It was a sanctuary, free from terrestrial conflicts. But that dream is fading. Today the heavens are not just a frontier for exploration, but the ultimate military high ground. The invisible web of satellites orbiting above has become the central nervous system of modern warfare. These orbital assets are critical for nearly every military operation. Encrypted communication satellites provide secure, real-time links between commanders and troops. The global positioning system is no longer just for navigation. It guides precision munitions to their targets with pinpoint accuracy and allows armies to move with unprecedented coordination. Above it all, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance satellites act as our unblinking eye in the sky, monitoring troop movements, detecting missile launches, and gathering critical data. This profound dependence creates a terrifying vulnerability. If those satellites were destroyed, jammed, or hacked, entire armies could be blinded and deafened in an instant. Precision weapons would go astray. Drones would fall from the sky. Command networks would collapse into chaos, leaving soldiers isolated on the battlefield. A successful attack on a nation's space infrastructure wouldn't just be a setback. It would be a catastrophic blow, paralyzing its ability to fight. The first shot of the next World War might not be a missile, but a silent command sent to disable a satellite. Recognizing this, major world powers are actively developing a new generation of anti-satellite or ASAT weapons. Some are brutally direct, like kinetic kill vehicles, missiles designed to collide with a target at hypersonic speeds, obliterating it. Others are more subtle. Ground-based lasers can dazzle a satellite's sensitive optics, permanently blinding it. High-power microwave weapons could fry a satellite's electronics from a distance. Perhaps most insidiously, nations are deploying so-called inspector satellites. These maneuverable craft can approach another satellite, ostensibly for repairs, but could just as easily use a robotic arm to disable it, spray its lenses, or even attach a small explosive. The consequences of such a conflict are almost unimaginable. A war in space could unleash a cascade of destruction known as the Kessler syndrome, where debris from one collision triggers a chain reaction, creating an impenetrable shell of shrapnel that could make low Earth orbit unusable for centuries. This new arms race is already underway, marked by the establishment of dedicated military branches like the US Space Force. The next great conflict may not begin on land, at sea, or in the air. It could be fought silently in the cold vacuum of orbit, with the fate of nations hanging in the balance. Science fiction has long captivated our imaginations with visions of future warfare. From the searing bolts of blasters to the versatile phasers of Starfleet, the concept of weapons that harness pure energy has been a staple of futuristic storytelling. For decades, these remained firmly in the realm of fantasy, a distant dream of what might one day be possible. But that future is arriving faster than many realize. Laser and microwave weapons, known collectively as directed energy weapons or DWs, are no longer fiction. These systems operate on fundamentally different principles. Instead of launching a physical projectile, they project focused energy at the speed of light. High-energy lasers concentrate photons into a powerful beam to burn through steel or disable sensitive optics. High-power microwaves act like a targeted electromagnetic pulse, frying the internal electronics of a target without a kinetic explosion. The tactical advantages are revolutionary. A laser shot costs mere dollars in electricity, compared to the millions for a single interceptor missile. Their magazine is virtually limitless, constrained only by the power supply. This makes them an ideal defense against cheap, numerous threats like drones or small boats. The US Navy has already tested ship-mounted lasers, like the Helios system, which can successfully identify, track, and destroy drones mid-flight, protecting multi-billion-dollar warships from inexpensive attacks. But as defensive capabilities evolve, so too does the offense. A new class of weapon is emerging that threatens to upend strategic stability: hypersonic missiles. To be classified as hypersonic, a weapon must travel at over Mach 5, more than 5 times the speed of sound, or roughly 1 mile per second. At these velocities, a missile could travel from New York to Los Angeles in under 30 minutes. What makes them so dangerous isn't just their breathtaking speed, but their maneuverability. Unlike a ballistic missile, which follows a predictable arc, a hypersonic glide vehicle can make sharp, unpredictable turns within the atmosphere. This combination of speed and agility makes them nearly impossible to track, let alone intercept with current defense systems. They fly in a deadly seam, too low for space-based interceptors and too high and fast for most traditional air defenses, exploiting a critical gap in our defensive shield. This has ignited a new high-stakes arms race. The United States, Russia, and China are all pouring billions into developing their own hypersonic arsenals, each vying for a decisive edge. These aren't concepts. They're already being tested on remote ranges and paraded as national triumphs. The battlefield of the 21st century is being defined by this terrifying interplay of light-speed defenses and unstoppable offenses. These weapons are waiting, not for a distant future, but for the right conflict to be unleashed, forever changing the face of war. The scariest weapons may not explode at all. With CRISPR and genetic engineering, it's theoretically possible to design targeted biological agents. Imagine a virus engineered to affect only certain groups of people, or even a weapon that manipulates human performance on the battlefield. International treaties forbid such research, but history shows us that forbidden technologies often find their way into secret labs. Brain-computer interfaces like Neuralink are designed to heal, restoring movement, vision, or memory. But what happens if they're militarized? Soldiers connected directly to AI systems could react faster than any human, coordinate perfectly, and even control machines with thought alone. The line between soldier and machine could blur, creating a new kind of warrior. The most terrifying part isn't just the weapons. It's the fact that many of them remove human decision-making. An autonomous drone swarm doesn't stop to ask if it should fire. An AI-controlled cyber attack doesn't feel guilt if it shuts down a hospital. The future of war raises an old question. Just because we can build these weapons, should we? Future wars may not look like wars at all. They may be fought in silence, in space, in cyberspace, or even in our own DNA. But one thing has never changed. Once a weapon is invented, history shows it will eventually be used. And when that day comes, the future of humanity may depend not on who has the most weapons, but who dares to unleash them.